Hello, everybody. How are we doing tonight? This is, I don't know what you call it, a bourbon mule. It's got some bourbon, a little bit of lime juice, and some diet ginger beer because I'm getting fat. Wanted to share today, in case you haven't guessed, a little something about trains. But before we get to that, so I spent the day, I went over to my mother's house, and with all this rain, some of her backyard drains were problematic. So I went and I cleaned out the drains. While I was there, we took care of some issues underneath the kitchen sink, which was daunting, but it's done and handled. I've got one more thing I've got to do, but she didn't have a part, so we had to order the part. When it gets there, I'll go back. But one of the perks, well, that's not fair. There's three perks. First perk, as always, is getting to spend time with my mom is always a treat. Second perk is she made this cool Sancho doll. How cool is that? Now, a lot of you have been asking, hey, where's Sancho? Well, he's been spending a lot of time with his gal pal. What's her name? I don't know. I think that's going south. Him and I don't know aren't getting along too well, so I'm sure he'll be back and you will be hearing from him in future videos. The third thing was while I was there, as many of you know, I've started to show an interest in model trains. So I got up into the rafters and pulled down all of my father's old trains. Now, if you're going to play with trains, you have to have a conductor's hat. Check. You have to have trains. Check. Now, the interesting thing is I had no idea how many trains my old man had. Now, I believe, I have a ton of reading I have to do. I believe all of his trains are O scale. I've been yapping about G scale, and I actually have a locomotive and a car coming here probably the next week that'll be G scale, so it'll be quite a bit larger. But look what an amazing, I'm hoping some of you that are really into trains may be able to help me. I don't know what year these are from. Based on their build quality, I'm going to say in the 60s probably. But look at this. You know, this goes up and down. Pretty cool. All the way up, all the way down. You can see here. Again, I believe this is O scale. I'm going to show you the haul, though, of all the crap my father has had in boxes for, well, the better part, based on the newspapers, better part of 10 years. I'm hoping, I want to show you sort of what we've got, and maybe, again, like I said, some of you may know and may be able to help me out a little bit. So beyond this one, this is a Lionel Lines number 6560. Like I said, I've got a lot of reading to do to figure all this out. But it's all behind me on my dining room table, and there's some crap down here. It was quite a lot, and I'm actually really, really excited. But let me show you around and show you what we got. So there's my dining room table, but we won't make this too long of a video, but you can kind of see these are all from the same era. And again, I believe these are all O scale. This is some sort of a Searchlight, I'm guessing like the war period. Here's a really cool locomotive. It's quite heavy. Here's the lumber that I believe goes with the other car that's sitting on the kitchen counter. You can see here we've got 1, 2, 3 passenger cars. I don't really know anything. Again, I know very little about any of these. I've got a lot of work to do. Here's the other one here. My father, I think, with his grandchildren, as they were getting older, I think he used it as an excuse to purchase some more cars. There's a Lionel there and a little man. These are really fun. This is a helicopter. It actually spins up and you pull this lever and it'll actually shoot off the car. Again, I'm saying that 60s based on that Hughes aircraft helicopter. Look at that big bubble, Vietnam era. Right behind it, you can see the auto loader. And, you know, look at the nose and stuff of these cars. They're all in pretty good shape. Take a look at these. Tell me this isn't, 60s era. This is a missile launcher. This actually go up, you can lock this missile in place and do this and it shoots the missile. I know that's not from the 80s. Another missile launcher. some sort of a big submarine hauler. We've got a couple of oil tankers. You can see right here, here's a caboose. My old man was obviously a big Lionel fan, like the American stuff. Here's a blue locomotive. I don't know if he broke it or the grandkids broke it, but you can see the nose is busted off. I'll have to get that fixed. Cattle car, Lionel. Again, I think he purchased a lot of these. I believe this is his locomotive from when he was a boy. It's unbelievably heavy. But I got to do some research. Here's another locomotive that he had. Again, up in the rafters. Bunch of oil takers. We've got Sunoco. We got what? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oop, dropped a missile. Here's a coal car. Here's a fire car. Here's another oil tanker. Sunoco again. Obviously very popular back in the Midwest, not so popular out here. Here's a car that hauls tanks and a boat. Now, as we come around the corner here, this little stack of houses, these are actually from my Tyco set from when I was a boy in the late 70s. The Tyco train is long gone, but apparently the old man kept a few of the, I don't know what you call these, the houses, but I just sort of stacked them up there. I don't know what scale my Tyco set was. But this next set, these were my father's from when he was a little boy. And you can see it's called Plasticville. There's the post office. What's really cool is this is the only one that's got the lamps outside. We go to the hospital there, and you can sort of see the holes where lamps should go. Those are missing, but Plasticville Hospital. Here's the police department. Here's the fire department. We've got a Frosty bar. Here's the school. Note the outhouses and an airport. Back here, we basically, it looks like some sort of a train station of some sort. All Plasticville, I have to look those up. I remember those as a little boy and playing with them. But that was, 40 plus years ago. I don't know how long he had them packaged up. And again, as I pointed out over here, these were mine from my Tyco set when I was a little boy. Don't know what we'll do with those. Probably box them back up because I don't think any of this is the right scale. This church isn't Plasticville, and I don't believe it's the right scale for this either. It doesn't seem to match, so I don't know where that came from. But over here, I think this is more Lionel. We've got some track. We've got the Pennsylvania Flyer. I haven't even gotten into these yet. More, track. All of this here. Look at all this track, guys. Just tons and tons of track. Another Lionel train. Again, I don't know. But it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. So, my new passion, at least for the moment, or my latest passion, is going to be trains. I'm still going to collect the Disney name tags. I still look at typewriters all the time, but I've got 100-something typewriters. I pretty much got that covered. I probably need to get a couple more conductor hats because you can't play with trains without a conductor hat. And then I need to start building my track and some scenery. I think we'll put it in the wine room. I can move some stuff around and be able to get a 5x5 sheet of plywood and start building some mountaintops and things like that. It should be a ton of fun. I love doing research, so I'll spend the next several weeks of free time researching all of these various cars and finding out basically their year, what their scale is, et cetera, et cetera. And I think I mentioned before, I actually bought a G-scale locomotive and a car that'll be here next week, which will be quite a bit larger for the backyard. But we'll see what happens. I don't know what brought this on. All of a sudden, I started taking interest in trains. But life's short, so when you're interested in something, I think you should pursue it. I got to keep my eyes peeled on eBay because there's a couple more Disney name tags. Well, there's going to be a zillion more that I need to get. But at the moment, we're going to spend some time with these. If any of you that are watching this, if you don't mind commenting, if you know to lend a hand, it would sure be appreciated to help me in my education. I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be a lot of fun. I don't remember being particularly interested in it as a kid, but shit changes. Anyway, in this world, when you could be anything you want, you be kind, be humble, be forgiving, and I don't know, go play with some trains. Good for the soul. Bye.